Phainon's V1 kit is fully out, as well as a lot of gameplay showcases. The community seems split about him. At first, everyone was saying how overpowered he is. However, people are starting to notice massive problems with Phainon's kit. I've read a lot of comments under showcases, and will summarize these problems. Most showcases at the moment are done in the 3.4 MOC, where there is an extremely OP buff. When targeting an enemy with a skill, you deal additional 300% of the attacking unit's attack as damage to the target and adjacent units. This massively inflates all the damage you see in these showcases. People were praising Phainon for being able to zero cycle at low cost, but there are multiple showcases of unaccessed zero cycling at only one cost. In that, MOC unaccessed straight up does more damage than Phainon as a hyper carry. There are a lot of showcases currently with a lot of different DPSs easily zero cycling at low cost. So to get a better image of Phainon's power, you should check out the currently rare showcases in 3.3 MOCs and other game modes. Now onto the actual problems with Phainon's kit. When he begins a fight, he can get his first ultimate transformation pretty quickly. When he transforms, he sends all allies off the field and gains 8 extra turns, which have set action values and are only impacted by his base speed. In this mode, he deals most of his damage, but his damage is spread across a lot of actions, while he spends a large amount of AV. So it seems like Phainon deals a lot of damage, but he does this over a lot of actions, and more importantly, a lot of AV. Castoris, for instance, when she summons Netherwing, in most situations you go full blast and immediately do all of your damage. After you did that damage, you only spend the AV of one turn and can immediately use your team to get back into your ultimate. Especially now with Hyacinth, you can easily get multiple Netherwings in one cycle. Phainon, however, almost eats an entire cycle while being in his ultimate. When Phainon exits his ultimate, it takes quite a bit to get back into his ultimate. And unlike Castoris, he doesn't then immediately deal all his damage, but will need to spread it across another 8 actions without the help of teammates. I saw a Redditor use a good analogy. Phainon is like using Hyper Beam in Pokemon. It is a high damaging ability, but takes a full turn afterwards in which you cannot do anything. That is why it averages out worse than a move like Earthquake, which you can use twice into turns. Next to that, he is stuck in a weird place with regards to sustain. Most of the showcases are sustainless, and that is not so weird, because Phainon does not gain a lot from most sustains when he is in his ultimate. He takes reduced damage and has a self-heal. When you are in your ultimate, you would rather have another buff on you because all the buffs that are on Phainon stay on him while transformed. But healers often also have targetable abilities, being able to grant Phainon a stack for his ultimate. Next to that, most healers have access to the shared feeling light cone, which gives an additional stack due to granting energy. What's more is that Phainon has a trace which grants him 40% damage when an ally heals or shields him. In Apocalyptic Shadow and Pure Fiction showcases, you can see how much AV Phainon eats with his ultimate. That is his biggest downside at the moment. We have no way of impactfully manipulating the speed of his turns in a turn-based game where speed and action advance is so important. If you don't kill the enemies in one ultimate, his performance will dip drastically. Heracor of Senience, one of the most knowledgeable Beta Zero cyclers, also made a post saying that it is very difficult to zero cycle with Phainon. Suggestions to make his kit better are to nerf some multipliers and make it so that he can enter his ultimate with 6 stacks like Phainon and make his extra turns based on his total speed. However, this is hoy-overs, and they will sell you the solution to his problems in future patches. Currently, we only have Sunday as one of his best-in-slot teammates. In the patch after Phainon, we will get Cerydra, who is leaked to be another of his best-in-slot supports. We know little of her now, but she is rumored to grant extra actions after a teammate takes an action, potentially giving Phainon double the amount of actions in his ultimate. Afterwards, we will get Preservation Dan Heng, which will be the tailor-made sustain for Phainon. He will grant a shield activating the 40% damage trace for Phainon, as well as summon a dragon, which will belong to its target. This means that the summon will stay on field with Phainon during his ultimate. I expect Phainon to still be a very strong and comfortable DPS. Once you have all the pieces of Exodia, if Cerydra indeed gives him double the actions, he will probably be the new strongest DPS in his best team as he is now. There you have it. These are most of Phainon's current problems and his potential future fixes. To summarize, Phainon's biggest issues are that he takes a lot of action value in order to deal his damage, and has an awkward time getting back into his ultimate. Most of the current MOC showcases are heavily inflated due to the OP buff, granting him insane amounts of extra motion values. His performance in Apocalyptic Shadow and Pure Fiction seem lackluster at the moment. However, he is still missing two of his best in slot teammates. I know for sure that I'm going to get him at E0 as one together with his best in slot supports. If I want to vertically invest in his team, it will probably be for early Cerydra Eidolons, as support Eidolons are always the way to go in HSR. I hope that some of the issues in his kit get better throughout the beta, but it will be difficult for Hoyo to make him stronger in his base kit, and at the same time not very overpowered when he has his full best in slot team. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.